The Scouts have a badass, manly party of drinking, eating meat, and punching each other in the stomach as they decide to revel in their victory before they take on Wall Maria. The first half of Season 3 of Attack on Titan comes to a close in this raucous, ridiculous, and badass episode of the series. I think without a shadow of a doubt, the best thing about this episode is that weird little teaser that we actually got during the credits of this episode. It's definitely something that you don't want to skip, and I'm really glad that I actually managed to watch the entire episode from beginning to end, because a lot of the times when I'm watching anime, I try to skip to the end of the credits to see if there's a post-credit scene or a preview of some kind, but 99% of the time, it's just the end credits, the thing that you see many, many times. But here we actually get this weird scene which looks like it's going to be teasing the next part of the story. And as someone who does not read the manga, this was kind of a crazy, mind-blowing looking scene. We'll get to that in a second, but the overall vibe of this episode is sort of like the calm before the storm. It's a big celebration that the Scouts are having before they decide to go back and take Wall Maria, going into Eren's basement and finding some sort of secret which could lead them to the actual revelation of what the Titans are, where they came from, and what their ultimate plan is going to be, how this all ties into the Beast Titans, Reiner, Bertholdt, the head, the tail, the whole damn thing. But most of this episode is really just watching the characters be themselves and have a lot of fun as they party, drink, have meat, and get into ridiculous punching contests with one another. And when I say that, you know I'm talking about Eren and Jon. It's something that they've always been known for doing, and they do it in this episode to the point where it's absolutely hilarious, because now no one even tries to stop them from fighting. They just allow these guys to beat the shit out of one another, but at least they've come up with rules like no punching in the face. They just sort of continuously punch each other in the stomach, and it really made it feel like the old days of Attack on Titan. And again, this episode was very reflective. It made you think of the fact that this is actually an anime series which has been going on since 2013. There was a large break before Season 2, and now they're just kicking everything into high gear. But hilariously, within the story itself, especially the beginnings of when the Colossal Titan attacked for the second time, only 4 months have actually passed. 4 months, and not only have we seen an amazing array of battles, tons of characterization, the revelation that some of their friends are indeed traitors, the Beast Titan finally appearing, and even toppling an entire government and joining Levi's Scouts. All in 4 months. Like I said, this is the type of episode that allows the viewer to reflect on watching the entire series and seeing all of the amazing revelations that this show has actually been giving us. I also have to say it's refreshing to finally see Eren going back to being his regular self. The last couple of episodes, ever since he was captured by Rod Reyes and their family, he has just been a shadow and a shell of his former self, losing a lot of that fire and spark, which made him such a really fun and over-the-top character. He's back, he's spunky, and he's ready to fuck up some Titans, and it's all sorts of good. The final moments of the episode of actually watching Mikasa, Armin, and Eren actually just sitting together in the city at night was one of the most calm scenes that I've actually ever seen from the entire franchise, and it was sort of like taking me back to watching the series for the very first time before all of this craziness actually erupted, and when the world was a lot simpler for these characters, and how they'll do everything to actually reclaim it. It's one of the strongest elements of the series, and that combined with the overall atmosphere and art style, which is just absolutely dripping from this episode, made this a really great experience. The episode actually ends with the Scouts as they prepare to go towards Wall Maria, and for the very first time in the series, the citizens are actually, like, cheering on the Scouts for once. They're excited. They now have a government they can trust, and they have people who genuinely seem to want to help them and to figure out how to actually save everyone from the Titans. It's a great moment because, one, we also have Erwin, who, despite the fact that he only has one arm and has been through a hell of a lot of shit, is actually still managing to lead all of the Scouts and sort of be, like, the front man for the entire group. When he starts yelling and screaming at everybody to, like, bolster up everyone, it is just such a triumphant moment. They all get on their horses and they plow through the fields as they make their way to Wall Maria. It's just awesome. It's also great because we had a scene right before this where Levi tries to talk Erwin out of just staying behind, knowing that he could potentially be dead weight for this operation, the fact that he only has one arm and he doesn't seem to have the strength that he used to. But Erwin even manages to shock Levi a bit by saying that no, he's actually going to continue to move forward, even if it means his death. If it somehow helps humanity in some way, he's willing to do it. And in a way, I think Erwin almost sees this as like a sense of atonement for making up for all of the lives that were lost during all of these confrontations. It's really the only thing that he can offer to all of those fallen people at this time. And his absolute resolve, even in front of Levi, who's threatening to break his legs, man, this guy's just fucking metal. But let's get to the elephant in the room, and that is those weird scenes that we actually see during the credits. I'm not sure how to interpret any of this, and it's very clear that they're showing us some events which are going to be happening later, but we cut to this random scene where apparently we're back where Wal Maria is, where Eren and Mikasa's original home was, and we have Eren, we have Mikasa, and Levi who are on a roof. Levi is just covered head to toe in blood, and it's implied that Eren had actually just got done transforming into a Titan and went back to his human form. And for some reason, they're all just fighting with one another, with Mikasa actually attacking Levi and preparing to basically decapitate him. It's a really confusing and crazy scene, and the implication could be that Levi has basically just gone insane at this moment and might even be utilizing the power of that syringe, which can transform people into Titans. You see a lot of steam actually coming from his body, and that could be actually what's happening here, but why it's all going down is just completely mysterious and honestly kind of fucks with my head just a little bit. But I will say, it's got me even more excited for the next big season. They even tease Reiner and Bertholdt at the very end of the episode as they're patiently waiting on the walls, knowing that it's only a matter of time before their enemies are going to arrive. They also look sort of reluctant to go into this battle, as it's pretty clear that they're being used by the Beast Titan right now, but for what reason is still an utter mystery. So, what's the rundown on this episode of Attack on Titan? First, I think it's a little disappointing that the third season is being split into two. They just announced that the next half of this season is going to be coming back in April, which isn't a tremendously long wait, but it is what it is. It sucks too because this has been definitely, I think, one of the more mellow arcs of the entire series. That's not to say that it hasn't been intense. It's been absolutely insane, but it really seems like it's all been more of like a setup for the next big part of the series, as Erwin calls it, the final operation to taking back humanity. I don't know how much closer we're getting to any sort of conclusion in the show, but I know that we're getting a little closer to at least some of the answers and mysteries of the show, and hopefully that's what the next season is actually going to give us. I do love that there is the implication that Levi is going to be somewhat corrupted by having to control that power. He's actually been given access to that small little container which contains the syringe with the Titan power. I don't know if he's actually going to end up using it, and he has the ability to use it in pretty much any way that he sees fit, as long as it benefits them in some way, but seeing Levi potentially get corrupted would be kind of strange, especially because of how instrumental and influential he actually is throughout the entire series. But this episode right here was mostly just a chance to relax and see the characters finally be themselves again in a more relaxed setting, and it leads to a lot of funny scenes, especially seeing everyone react to the fact that they're actually eating meat, which in this world apparently is something of a rarity. I mean, just watching Hanji Zoe like turn into a freaking zombie as she's attacking these things and even biting John's hand lead to a lot of great laughs. They even end up tying her up and just sort of leaving there at the end of the night, which I thought was pretty damn funny. Overall, this was a solid conclusion to the first half of this arc, but again, I wish we could get so much more, but it is what it is. We're just gonna have to wait a little longer until the next part of Attack on Titan. So let's wrap this bad boy up. I'm going to give this episode a 5 out of 5. You heard my thoughts about the episode. I want to hear yours. Tell me what you thought about the end of the first half of Season 3 of Attack on Titan in the comments section below. What did you think about that scene during the ending credits? Do you guys just watch the anime? Do you read the manga version? Did that really surprise you? What do you hope to see from the next part of the season beginning in April? Let's get a discussion going about this entire season, this episode right here. Thank you guys for watching this review. I'll see all of you next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.